Did you know the Eiffel Tower, the very symbol of Paris, was almost torn down? It was built for the 1889 World's Fair, with a strict 20-year expiration date. Imagine Paris without it. This iconic structure was never meant to be permanent. So how did a temporary and widely hated iron lattice tower become the most visited paid monument in the world? Stick around, because the story is way more fascinating than you think. It involves angry artists, military secrets, and a stroke of genius that literally changed the course of history. Let's rewind to the late 19th century. Paris is buzzing, preparing to host the 1889 Exposition Universelle, a World's Fair celebrating the 100th anniversary of the French Revolution. A competition is launched to design a monumental entrance arch for the exhibition grounds. The winner? A daring, ambitious project by the engineering firm of Gustave Eiffel. His design was a 300-meter-tall iron tower, a feat of engineering unheard of at the time. Construction began in 1887, and from the very start, it was controversial. This wasn't the beloved landmark we know today. To many Parisians, especially the city's artistic and literary elite, it was a monstrous eyesore. A committee of 300, led by prominent figures like the writer Guy de Maupassant and composer Charles Gounod, penned a furious open letter. They called it a truly tragic street lamp, a gigantic black smokestack, and a hateful column of bolted sheet metal. They argued this useless and monstrous tower would cast a barbaric shadow over the cherished architecture of Paris, humiliating monuments like Notre Dame and the Arc de Triomphe. The public outcry was immense. People genuinely believed this iron skeleton would ruin the aesthetic of their beautiful city. Despite the fierce opposition, construction pushed forward. The tower was completed in just over 2 years, an incredible achievement for the era. And when the World's Fair opened, it was an instant success with the public. Millions of visitors flocked to ascend the tower, marveling at the panoramic views of Paris. For the duration of the fair, it was a sensation. But the clock was ticking. The original permit was clear. In 1909, 20 years after its construction, the tower was scheduled to be dismantled. The land would be returned to the city of Paris, and this grand experiment would be just a memory. The critics were just waiting to say, "I told you so," and watch it get torn down, piece by piece. This is where Gustave Eiffel, the man behind the tower, proved he was not just a brilliant engineer, but a master strategist. He knew that for his tower to survive, it had to be more than just a novelty attraction. It had to be indispensable. He understood that utility was the key to permanence. So, from the very beginning, he encouraged scientific experiments to be conducted on his tower. He set up a meteorology lab on the 3rd floor, collecting data on temperature, humidity, and wind speed. He studied the properties of air resistance by dropping objects from various heights. He was actively trying to prove his tower's scientific worth. But his true masterstroke was recognizing the dawn of a new, revolutionary technology: wireless telegraphy, or as we know it, radio. In the early 1900s, radio was in its infancy. It was a mysterious force that could send messages through the air without wires. And what does a fledgling radio technology need most? A very, very tall antenna. The Eiffel Tower, being the tallest man-made structure in the world at the time, was the perfect candidate. Eiffel offered the French military the use of his tower as a strategic communications hub. In 1903, a military radio antenna was installed at the very top. Captain Gustave Auguste Ferrier, a pioneer in military radio technology, began conducting experiments. From the tower's summit, he was able to send and receive wireless signals over increasingly long distances, first across Paris, then to cities all over France, and eventually even across the Atlantic Ocean to North America. The military potential was undeniable. This wasn't just a scientific curiosity anymore, it was a vital asset for national security. The tower could be used to intercept enemy communications and to transmit orders to troops and ships far away. Its value became crystal clear. As the 1909 demolition date approached, the arguments of the artists and critics about aesthetics seemed trivial compared to the tower's newfound strategic importance. The French government and military realized that tearing down their most powerful radio antenna would be a colossal mistake. So, When the time came to decide the tower's fate, the decision was obvious. Its permit was extended. The tower was saved from the scrapyard, not because people had suddenly fallen in love with its looks, but because it had proven itself to be critically useful. It had become a guardian of France. Its role in history was cemented during World War I. The tower's radio station played a crucial and often unsung role in the Allied victory. In 1914, during the pivotal First Battle of the Marne, the French military used the tower to intercept German radio communications. The messages they decoded revealed that the German army was overextended and changing its direction, creating a gap in their lines. This vital intelligence allowed the French and British forces to launch a surprise counterattack, halting the German advance on Paris and ultimately saving the city. It is no exaggeration to say that the signals sent and received from the Eiffel Tower helped change the outcome of the war. Another fascinating, and perhaps more clandestine use of the tower's radio capabilities was in espionage. In 1917, the station intercepted a coded message between Germany and Spain. French intelligence, working from the tower, decoded the transmission. It revealed the identity of the infamous spy, Mata Hari, who was subsequently arrested, tried, and executed. The tower had become a silent, iron sentinel, a key player in the shadowy world of international espionage. After the war, the tower's usefulness continued to expand. It became a hub for the first public radio broadcasts in the 1920s, and later for experimental television transmissions in the 1930s. It was a beacon of progress, always at the forefront of communication technology. Over the decades, public perception began to shift dramatically. The generation that had despised the tower was replaced by a new one that had grown up with it. It was no longer a temporary eyesore, but a permanent and familiar part of the Parisian skyline. Artists who once scorned it began to celebrate it in their work. It appeared in paintings, poems, and films, gradually transforming from a symbol of industrial ugliness into a symbol of Parisian modernity and romance. Today, it's impossible to imagine Paris without the Eiffel Tower. It has become a global icon, representing not just a city, but an ideal of beauty, innovation, and romance. Millions of people travel from all corners of the globe every year to see it, to have their picture taken in front of it, to propose marriage beneath it. It is woven into the cultural fabric of France and the world. And it all happened because its creator, Gustave Eiffel, refused to let his vision die. He saw beyond the iron and bolts, beyond the criticism and controversy. He found a way to make his creation essential. By transforming a tourist attraction into a vital communications tool, he ensured its survival. The story of the Eiffel Tower is a powerful reminder that sometimes the things we initially reject or misunderstand can become the very things we treasure most. It's a testament to the power of innovation, perseverance, and looking for the hidden potential in everything. So the next time you see a picture of the Eiffel Tower, or if you're lucky enough to stand beneath it yourself, remember its incredible story. Remember the angry artists, the ticking clock, and the revolutionary technology that saved it. It's not just a tower, it's a survivor, a silent witness to history, and a true testament to a vision that was, quite literally, ahead of its time. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden histories behind the world's most famous landmarks. Let me know in the comments what other iconic structures you'd like to learn about. See you in the next video.